Hello again. This is our night race. We are in Miami today. We're still at Gauntlet Con at the first worldwide tuk-tuk tournament. We have seen exciting races in Houston. We have been in Venice. Now we are back on the North American continent in the city of Miami. We will cruise through Miami. It's an illegal street race, so be careful not to be caught by the police or any other forces. And treat your tuk-tuks well, but make it first to the finishing line. With me I have Michael and Greg. They're experienced tuk-tukeros, and we do character creation as the next step. Character creation in this game is fast, because it's a tuk-fast, tuk-furious game. So I will share my screen for you to the document, so even people who are in a potential audience can see how we do character creation. So your tuk-tukero, your tuk-tukera needs a name. And for example, I am in this game, because we only have 2 other players, I also will run in this game. I am Schmetterling. I have been a lucha libre fighter for many years. I'm musculous. And my engine needs to carry some extra kilos. But if necessary, I can get out and punch my way through wherever I am, if the road is blocked. Michael, who are you playing?
I'm playing Rico the Kid, who is a fashion icon, and no race is complete without Rico's very dedicated swarm of fans and idolaters.
For sure. Like, sponsors wanted you in, I think. Greg, who do you bring?
I am El Corazon, the retired matador who may or may not have a sword underneath his tuk-tuk seat. Has been known to release wild animals into the street as a way of getting his wins in the tuk-tuk race.
I find it strange what people nowadays do just to win a tuk-tuk race. In my times, we were just kids and having fun in the streets, and now it's all about fashion and bloody rituals or whatever. This is where we have become such a commercial enterprise. So, I am Schmetterling, and I hope we will have a good race. Get into your tuk-tuks. And the first step in our race, as always, to say how you prepared for the race. Like, this can be a flashback. This can be way down into your youth, how you discovered your tuk-tuk. This can be just at the starting line. This can be your friends hiding on the tracks and trying to help you while you're on the course. Something which will help you to have a good start into the race. So I will make the first introduction here. My preparation for this game is that with my lucha libre powers, I call for all my wrestling fans in the United States. And lucha libre is getting more and more popular here. And so I have everywhere in the streets, I have fans of mine who know what to do if I should fall behind. Michael, how is Rico the Kid preparing for the race?
Is it okay to kind of merge in with your scene?
Absolutely. We will later roll dice how well it goes.
Oh, okay. We see all of these, Lucha Libre fans out here in the streets getting ready to see Schmetterling. But then they start to kind of mix it up with a bunch of very high fashion dressed people. So there's people out there in nice skirts and high heels and nice jackets and these really interesting handbags, right? And everyone is sort of looking up and down at each other with some judgment and disdain, because they know that these fashionable people are here to see Rico the Kid. And we see, we kind of cut to Rico in the mirror, like putting on his cool fingerless leather gloves and his glossy white jacket. And he's ready to race.
And just as Rico enters the room and all heads turn to him, a curtain that no one had noticed before gets pulled up. And what is there but a full salsa band? And the lights turn red, and El Corazon is there. And a big salsa, and he throws up his hands, takes the most beautiful woman in the room, and begins to salsa, salsa, salsa. And then, pointing to both Rico and to Schmetterling, Corazon goes, "It is time to race the tuk-tuk."
Let's go to our Hangout group chat and roll 2d6 flat. And since we come of the generation of PBTA, 10 plus is a full success, 7 to 9 a partial success, and 6 minus a miss. So roll as high as you can. So it's a little bit complicated for me here, but I rolled a 10, a full success. Greg has a 7, and Michael, Rico the Kid, only has a 6. This is indeed a fashion crime. So I go first again. My Lucha Libre fans and wrestling fans, they even have posters of me everywhere on the road. And I feel so comfortable going through Miami because I know this will be my next home base. I start because it's a full success with 2 flow. If you have a partial success, describe a minor thing which went wrong. On a miss, something went terribly wrong. You start with 0 flow, while with a partial success, you still have at least 1 flow.
I think the salsa is a little off key, and El Corazon has perhaps assumed people's musical tastes were better than they actually were. And so the salsa is not quite as inspiring as he thought it might be.
Yes, yes. Rico the Kid.
Rico notices only too late that he's wearing white after Labor Day. His crowd has turned against him, and they're booing him. And it seems as if they've now turned to join the Lucha Libre fans, and they're tearing the sleeves off of their jackets and rioting in the streets. And they're doing flying leaps off of turnbuckles and all kinds of non-fashionable actions.
The worst of the worst, non-fashionable. How could that be? Now we are at the starting line. The race can begin. And the race always begins with one player describing an obstacle. And this is when we are diving into Miami and looking in one street view. I do the first obstacle, so you get an idea about what is supposed to happen. And I share my screen again, but this time it's the view of Miami. And I take a random drop somewhere in this city with all my fans here. And what do we see? The sun. We are on a yacht. Exactly. Perfect. Yeah, organized crime is always there where tuk-tukeros are. And so you see this huge mansion over there. We have to cruise by there because there's a crime boss living there. And this crime boss insists on that we pass by and bring him some cocktails. So everybody has some cocktails in the back and just has to hand them over to this crime boss. So I would say I now have to make a decision. Who is championed in this situation and who might be troubled? The champion gets +1 on their next roll. The one who is troubled gets -1 on their roll. I think that our fashion kid, Rico, is championed here and gets a +1 on his roll. And it's El Corazon who is troubled here. Let's see how it goes, and we might understand why it is the case. Now you only roll 1d6. Each of us rolls 1d6, and you add your bonus. If you are alone in the lead, which is the case for me, you need to subtract another 2 from your dice roll, from your 1d6. So I roll 1d6 -2, because I have to face the obstacle first, which is always a challenge. And especially a challenge because on my keyboard, the 1, 2, 3, and 4 don't work anymore.
Oh.
I only get a 1, which is a very bad result. And Rico gets a 6, an effective 6. And then we have El Corazon with a 2. If you have 4 or more, you gain 1 flow. If you have 2 or 3, your flow stays the same. When you only roll the 1, you lose 1 flow. So I lose 1 flow. The lowest roll describes what goes wrong. That is me. The highest roll describes how well it goes. So, unfortunately, it goes very wrong for me. I'm in the lead, and I have all these cocktails in the bag. However, because I go through these palm trees over there and shake one or the other, bang, bang, coconuts fall down on me and shatter many of the cocktails until they reach a chemical level which leads them to a near explosion. As soon as we reach the mansion, there's a big explosion, and the bodyguards all start shooting with their machine pistols at us because they think they are under attack by an opposing crime organization. Now, Rico the Kid, make that look good for you.
Well, Rico the Kid just looks like the perfect action star in this moment, right? His tuk-tuk comes flying up out of the explosion, right? And there's a guitar riff somewhere, blow, as he rides through, and the bullets fly by, and the wind blows his hair, and he looks like he's just on the set of an action movie. And there's some people with their cell phones out, and they're tweeting about, oh, Rico the Kid, is he in a new movie? There's this awesome shoot going on here. I didn't even hear anything about this. They haven't even closed the streets.
Incredible. The next GTA part will be about Rico, I think. So, I would say, Greg, you can pick a street view and send it to me in the Google Hangouts, and then I will share the screen for us, and so we can see where our next obstacle is waiting for us.
Okay, and so let's see. Ooh.
Ooh, what does that mean? You can post the link into our... there's the link. So while this loads, I share my screen again so we know what we are looking at while you describe our obstacle. Okay. Greg, you're muted.
Sorry, yes, pan to the right. There's an orange construction vehicle, and though you only see one in this picture, it's actually like a full-on construction area. Why they're doing this road work at night, no one ever knows why. But there's just men in construction hats and cranes everywhere on this street, and they're changing all of the light poles, and traffic is flying back and forth because they don't even know. All the lights are flashing yellow, then flashing green, then flashing red. What does it mean? You're driving in Florida and no one knows how to drive. And so there's yeah, and so we're coming up on this construction area, and we're here because we have to get through this area and get to the airport, where we're going to pick up a package for our next obstacle.
Ooh, who is championed and who is troubled? You can't pick yourself.
Oh, I think Schmetterling is champion in this. I think Schmetterling has a lot of fans in the construction industry, and I think Rico might be having some issue with this because construction people are not the most fashionable, and they might be against Rico the Kid.
We'll just see about that.
Let's grab the dice.
With no one with the highest flow, do I just roll flat?
Yes, you just roll flat. Nobody has alone standing the highest flow. Whoa, that goes well for me. I have a 6. Corazon gets a 4, and Rico gets a meager 1. Rico, can you explain to us what went so horribly wrong that you lose 1 flow?
Well, I know that in Florida, construction crews are often called to help with sinkholes, gigantic holes that just open up in the middle of the ground due to the limestone eroding beneath the streets themselves. And I think we have a moment where a large sinkhole just falls right in the middle of our track. And unfortunately, the poor Rico falls in momentarily and is going to have to find his way out. But I wonder how everyone else manages to evade this obstacle.
Well, nothing easier than that. You just see me jumping over you because I'm flying over you. Well, some of the construction workers have one of these cars where you can carry like big construction machinery on, so they can ramp up there, and so I jump over everything and over there until I just hold one of my strong wrestling arms out and take a full swing around one of the palm trees, and then land back on your tuk-tuk while it's coming out of the sinkhole. I'm right in front of you. So El Corazon and we both gain 1 flow, while Rico the Kid is falling behind. However, now it's Rico's call to give us an obstacle.
You're muted, Garrett.
It looks like we're not out of the construction just yet, because from the lowest point of the sinkhole below sea level, now we're going up above sea level, and we are all racing our tuk-tuks along the very thin edge of a construction crane. Whoa. 100 feet above the road.
Oh, so who is championed and who is troubled?
I believe that Schmetterling is used to some high-flying acrobatic activity, but I would say El Corazon is much more grounded.
Ooh. So I roll with -1.
The other way around, sorry.
Oh. Grounded is not a good thing in this case.
Correct.
So am I rolling with -3 then, with the highest flow and troubled?
I think you and Schmetterling are still neck and neck, so
We're still neck and neck. None of us has a -2 yet.
Okay.
And you have a
Got it.
+1, if I got that correctly. Yeah? No, you have a -1. I have a +1.
You
No,
have a +1,
I
yeah.
got it. Yes. I like it. It's so good. That's a 7 for me. And a 5 for El Corazon. And a 2 only for Rico. So there we go. With the highest again. I know what to do. I take this crane, as you can imagine, and make it swing faster and faster and faster until it shoots my tuk-tuk all over the skyscrapers and straight into the direction of the finishing line. And I come to the ground, my wheels fly away because this fall was just too steep, but I'm scratching on my metal. I get out and still have my steering wheel in my hand and just carry my tuk-tuk with my bare hands further down the road. So, Rico, you again. What goes wrong?
yeah. I think the most terrible, most demoralizing thing that could happen to Rico here in this moment is something happening to his outfit. So his tuk-tuk is in perfect shape, makes the landing just right, and all things considered, he should be doing very well. But then he looks down and sees that his jacket has a small tear, and he has lost all excitement and all of his momentum, and his mind is gone, and now he's just lamenting his torn jacket.
Will this, in the end, make you be the victor of this? We will see, because now we are very close to the finishing line. And now the rules change again. We had the preparation, we had the race, and now the finishing line. For the finishing line, we have an advantage if we have a lot of flow, but that doesn't mean we win. It's a very close race, very tight. Like, we can all still make it. So the tuk-tukero wins who has the highest speed. The speed is a number you decide upon. The higher, the more risky. Why is it more risky to have a high number? Because you need to roll with 2d6 plus your flow. So that means that El Corazon and Schmetterling roll with 2d6 plus 3, and poor Rico the kid only rolls +0. You need to roll over your speed or equal to your speed. Otherwise, your tuk-tuk crashes and will not reach the finishing line. Highest speed wins. So we all think which speed we want to take. Type the number in the Google Hangout chat, but don't reveal it. We only press enter and send it to the others at the same time. I will count from 3 to 0, and then we reveal it.
And you say you add your flow to your result?
To see if you can make it. So the speed is determining the highest speed wins. But if you can't beat your speed with 2d6 plus flow, you didn't make it. Then you were too fast. It's a little bit like blackjack. So, how do you feel ready for? I have written a number. I can send it anytime. How about you?
I'm ready.
You are ready as well. Okay, Greg, are you ready? Okay, then I count. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh!
Oh! Let's see. It will be tight because now we need to see who will make it. 2d6, that's your flow.
The kid is all in. This is his last race ever.
Just to tell you, Rico the Kid has speed 12, and I have speed 12 too, but I have 3 flow. Maybe El Corazon with his 10 will make it and we don't. Oh, Rico the Kid won't make it. Oh, that's so sad. But the question is, will I make it? And I roll 2d6 plus 3, and I get a 14, because I rolled an 11 plus 3 is 14. Now, we only want to see if we have another crash or if you make it, El Corazon. You don't make it. You rolled a 9 only, and your speed is 10. So we see 2 tuk-tuks crashing and 1 making it. So going from the lowest to the highest. The lowest speed, which was bid, was by El Corazon. How do we see you not getting over the finishing line?
El Corazon has successfully delivered sangria. He has dodged the cranes and the wrecking balls. He even jumped with all of the other tuk-tuks off the end of the crane and managed not to mess up his beautiful matador hat. But at the last moment, as he is waving his sword victoriously in the air, he gets a little excited. And it drops below his wheel and pops his wheel. Oh! Oh! What a cruel fate! And he begins to careen back and forth, sparks flying all over the place. The bullhorns on the front dodging into and out of crowds, and people are screaming and jumping out of the way until finally he hits a fire hydrant. But his tuk-tuk is very light, so it does not knock the fire hydrant, just sort of stops. He's very sad.
Very sad. Rico the Kid.
Rico the Kid, his heart was not in tuk-tuk racing. For him, it was only a frivolous accessory. He should have known better. If you want to rule on the tuk-tuk circuit, you need to have your heart fully in it, even to the point where you would carry your own tuk-tuk on your back. He let himself be distracted by a momentary imperfection. And that was his undoing, as he drove his tuk-tuk directly into a billboard for his new fashion line and crashed spectacularly.
Well, Schmetterling. I'm still out there and just pushing my tuk-tuk, and you see like sparks behind me, and everything behind me catches flames, and like there's a big fire behind me because I have so many sparks while I push my tuk-tuk, and I push it in the same boutique where Rico ended up, but I just bump it through the wall and come out on the other side again. And then I see El Matador so close to the finishing line, and so I speed up, and you see me now carrying my tuk-tuk, and I run through it, and with a big scream I say, "Lucha Libre!" And there we go. I made it again. Thank you for playing Tuk Fast, Tuk Furious. You crashed. I'm very sorry for you, but you were fighting against the best. So you're still participating in a tuk-tuk race. You still get 1 lottery ticket. For each time you participate, you get 1 lottery ticket. And if you participate a second time, the best of your results counts as additional lottery bills. So if you have time over the course of the weekend and you want to give it another try, maybe you're lucky and don't have to race against me. You can improve. You already have 1 point. Thank you again for playing. I stop the broadcast.